Hey guys, this video is going to be about solving a system of equations using the graphing method. Now, to demonstrate this, I've chosen to go ahead and do number 1 on the lesson 43 homework. This is a good example of a time when we need to use the graphing method to solve this system of equations. Now, if we remember our steps to solving this, we know the first step is that we have to get both equations in y equals mx plus b form. Now, if we look at these two equations, we can see that the bottom equation is already listed in y equals mx plus b form, so we can just leave that one alone. But this top equation is not listed in y equals mx plus b form, so I'm going to have to rearrange that equation to put it into a form that's usable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rewrite that equation first. So I'm going to say x plus 2y equals 4. All right, now remember, to get in y equals mx plus b form, I need to get the y by itself on one side. So to do that, I'm going to subtract the x. Now, if this had been something like 2x, I would subtract both x's, but it's just one x, so I just do the minus x. And that's going to leave me with 2y equals 4 minus x. Okay. Now, I'm not quite done yet because I've still got a 2 in front of the y. So to get rid of the 2, I'm going to divide everything now by 2. Okay, so that's going to cancel these 2's out. And that's going to leave me with y equals 4 divided by 2 makes 2. Okay, and then I've got this negative x over 2. Now, the best way to do this, whenever we've got x over a number like this, let's just make it into a fraction. So it's going to be negative 1/2 times x. Okay. Now, what that's going to do, that's going to make it really easy to deal with the slope. Because remember, the slope is the number in front of the x. So now, what I really like to do here, guys, is I like to go ahead and I'm going to say this is going to be my green equation here, the bottom equation. And for that equation, I'm going to go ahead and write my slope and y-intercept. So I'm going to go slope and y-intercept. Now this is for the green equation. So the slope is the number in front of the x. So I see all I have here is 1. Now I like to write it as a fraction, 1 over 1, because remember we're going to think of slope as rise over run. Now my y-intercept is just the number that's near the x, or the other number besides the x. So that's going to be 5. So I'm going to have 0, 5 for my y-intercept. So remember that came from the number in front of the x and then the other number. So those are going to be those will be my green, slope, and y-intercept. Okay, so now let's look at the other equation. This is going to be my, oops, let's not do that. Here's my orange equation right here. Good. Okay, now for the orange equation, I still need slope and y-intercept. Now remember, I want to look at the equation after it's already in y equals mx plus b form because it's a lot easier to come up with my slope and y-intercept from that. So my slope is the number in front of the x, remember, so I've got negative 1 over 2. My y-intercept is the other number, so I've got 0, comma 2. Okay, good, and remember those, it's my slope and my y-intercept for the orange line. All right, now I've got slopes and y-intercepts and I want to graph these things. So my green, remember my green has a y-intercept of 0, 5. So let's go ahead and let's choose green. Okay, so I've got a y-intercept of 0, 5. So I go 0 and then 5 is right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, good. All right, now my slope is 1 over 1. So remember, that's rise over run. So I'm going to rise 1, I'm going to run 1. I go up 1 over 1. So I go up 1 over 1, and that's going to give me a point right here. And I go up 1 over 1, that gives me a point here. And I just follow this pattern. Now I see that this pattern is going up 1 and over 1. I can follow it backwards too, and I can end up filling in all these dots, right? Nice and easy. Okay. Good, so there's my y equals x plus 5. The last thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and draw a line to connect those. Good. Got my first line. Now I want to make my orange line. So my orange line, my y-intercept is 0, comma 2. So I want to put my point right here on 0, comma 2. All right, and now my slope is negative 1 over 2. Now I'm going to go ahead and label this, right? So let's remember, I've got rise over run. Now, it doesn't matter if you think of the rise being negative or the run being negative. Really, we can do it either way, and you're still going to end up with the right thing. So I'm going to pretend that this is a -1 and a +2. Remember, we'd end up with the same line if we did a +1 and a -2. So I'm going to go -1, so down 1 and then to the right 2. Okay, good. Down 1 to the right 2. And I'm just going to follow that pattern all the way out. Now, I can do it the other way too, right? So instead of down 1, I go up 1. And instead of right 2, I go left 2. So just the opposite. Continues the pattern the other direction. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to draw a line to connect all of those. Cool. So now I've got my 2 lines drawn. And now I notice that these 2 lines intersect each other at a specific point. And so that point is right there. That's the intersection, okay? That intersection is my solution point. So now I look at it and I go, this is going to be -1 or -1, 2, okay? And then +1, 2, 3. So this point is -2, comma, 3, all right? And so wherever it asks me for my answer, I'm going to write that real big over here as -2, comma, 3, goes in parentheses, and I'm going to box the whole thing in so I know that's my answer. All right, there we go. That is solving a system of equations using the graphing method.